You guys still here? Sabrina and Steve Blair? Thank you very much, Sabrina. I appreciate you. I appreciate the 99 cents. Let me see, guys. I just got to do something real quick in case you see me staring into nowhere. Just got to do something on the computer. All right. 9 people, please hit the like button, guys. Victor Falls, Evening Street Smarts. I've already taken my Tylenol for the stupidity of my fellow Republicans. Victor, I'm glad you're there, man. I'm glad you've finally gotten to your breaking point. I don't think the real I knew you were one of the good ones, Victor. You know how? Because you stayed open-minded. You would check facts and you would see, oh shit, Chris is right about this one, or he's wrong about this one, whatever. But not too many of them are like you. I don't think anybody else is going to change their mind. Steve Blair, did I shout you out? S. Frank Dickhead Don is a draft dodger. It's a lot of D's, and yes, he is. Yes, he is. 9 people, please hit the like button, guys. It's very, very important. Yeah, you got to research. That's right. They don't believe in that. I told you. I don't know if you remember. There was a guy in here who told me fact checking was bullshit. I'll never forget that line. Fact checking was bullshit. I mean, what the fuck? So, what's the thought then? What's the idea? We'll just say stuff. Yeah, why not? No proof behind it or nothing. Just say it. Say it if it makes you feel good. Let me see. Push it to jump. All right. I was wondering, what's your opinion on liquid gas? What? Well, liquid glass? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Liquid, what is that? Like epoxy resin, or what are you talking about? I get commercials during the stream. Do you earn commission from these commercials? I just skip them. Do you really? Because no, I don't think I do. I mean, I make nothing off the views. Oh, you ready to go to Florida? You've had it, right? S. Frank, this bullshit, huh? That's hopefully soon, bro. Killer America. Okay. Oh, you're calling it. Okay. Trump is a pedo. All right. I thought you were calling me that. Read everywhere Trump's name appears. Yes, Tina. Here come the insults. I know. They'll start calling me every name in the book. Damn, we're already up to 103 people, guys. Please hit the like button. I do believe we're going to hit 1,000 live viewers today. Ivanka knows about Daddy's sex life. Yeah, she's probably part of it. Yes, Epstein talks about how pissed he is that he can't rope in Trump. Where? Where does he say? What does he say exactly? I'm curious. Please don't spam the chat, Guillermo. Show the proof then, word salad beta. Proof of what? What do you want me to show you proof of? Trump is a pedo. You're a joke and you're just wishful thinking. What do you mean, guys? This is not wishful thinking. I mean, you know that we have established this, right? That he's all over the files. I mean, this is not my opinion I'm giving you here. This is a fact up on the screen. I mean, what are you saying? Go Knicks, fuck the Lakers. There you go. What's up, Kramer? Trump is in the files over 1,000 times. So would you consider that being shit all over the files? Because I got to be honest, I would. All of them are. Like who? What does he say that names him guilty? What does he say? I don't understand. Did I say he confessed to something? What are you talking about? Nah, Kramer's cool, Victor. Don't worry about him. He's a good dude. They're all over the Epstein files. Democrats and Republicans are teams with the same owners. Well, but when you say that, can you tell me who you're talking about instead of just making these general statements, broad, like like what Democrats are in them? And I'm not saying there aren't. I'm sure there are, but who? I haven't read all this shit. Maybe you know something I don't know, and I could learn from you. I'm curious. Trump is a pants shitting pedo. He is all, yeah, he definitely, he's exactly that. You do realize Trump kicked out Epstein from the Mar-a-Lago when he figured out he essayed a kid. No, he asked, Epstein said in emails to Ghislaine Maxwell, he never kicked him out, or Michael Wolff, maybe. He simply asked him to resign his membership, and we have no proof that had anything to do with him finding out that Epstein essayed a kid. You're literally just speculating. That's all you're doing. And what does that matter? If he was best friends with Epstein for 10 years and could have committed heinous crimes with him that whole time, and then just in 2004 said, okay, the heat is on, let me get him out of here to save my own ass. They're not articles, infamous Ewing. It's in the Epstein files, doj.gov. Go to the Department of Justice.gov. Okay. And then go to where the Epstein files library is, and then search the name Trump, and you'll see everything I'm telling you. Biden and his daughter, Hunter Biden laptop, Bill Clinton. Just names you just decided to throw in? Cool. Mr. President, fuck off. That's right, Harley May. It has not been established. You're just trying to get okay. It has not been established that he's all over the files. Are you fucking with me? Guys, good guys in the chat, smart people. Will you tell them? Am I fucking wrong? Am I crazy here? He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. But I do. I do. Speculating his guilt, fine. Yeah, I get to have an opinion. Yes, my opinion is that he's guilty. Absolutely. There's a whole fuck ton of evidence for me to come to that conclusion. UCN just read them to us, or are you illiterate? All right. Does that mean I can just read? You want me to read you the Epstein files? Yeah, that's what I'll do. 10 likes is crazy. Is it really, Duck Fart? How many do you get on your live streams? By the way, guys, please hit the like and subscribe. Very important. Trump, worst president ever. Yes. There's security video in Mar-a-Lago showing Trump kicking Epstein out of a mansion when finding out what Epstein did. No, there's not. Where is that? Where is that? What are you asking for proof of, Brian? That Trump is in the files? What did I just tell you? DOJ.gov. It's very simple. Oh, Ryan Stevenson, what's up, bro? Where you been? What's new with Trump and the Epstein files? Well, a girl reported to the FBI that her friend, who was 13 to 14 at the time, about 35 years ago, was forced to give Trump oral. And then, she bit him during the course of that. And when she laughed at him about that at the end, he hit her. And that's one claim. And then there's, of course, the one about him auctioning girls off and measuring their vulvas with his fingers and all kinds of weird shit like that, which is just, quite frankly, fucking disgusting. I don't even really like repeating it. What's not true, conspiracy music? Just tell me what's not true. I'm going to read you an excerpt from the Epstein files. Listen. Guys, everybody, hit the like and subscribe. Not MAGA. I don't want you to hit anything. Just the rest of everybody. Shit. Where is it? Hold on. All right. Complaint summary. Redacted reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was accompanied Or I'm sorry, the friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred. And when the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex, the friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. That's from the Epstein files. That's just one thing. That's just one thing, guys. But I'm lying. That's not in there. Okay. Oh, you better get the title Conspiracy Music. They're weird too. What does that mean? 450 people. Please hit the like button, guys. So no proof. Oh, yeah, nothing's proof to you. Conspiracy music. No, nothing is proof to you. Nothing. No matter what we show you, you'll just say it's not proof. Meanwhile, if this was an accusation made about Joe Biden or Obama, you would not need proof. You would just say, yes, it's true. It's a fact. And that's that, So that's what makes you guys such hypocrites. You'll come in here throughout this show. You guys will come in here and you'll spew nonsense with nothing to back it up, but you'll want to be taken seriously and believed. But when somebody shows you something you don't want to hear, nope, there's no believing it, no matter what we show you. Yeah, I know. Still, he should be exposed, though. 35 years ago, he wasn't in politics. Wow. So in other words, if he raped a girl when he was in politics, that counts. But if he wasn't in politics at the time, it's fine. He gets a pass on that one. Is that what you're saying? This would be all over the news. He's a straight up liar. Bill Henry, it is all over the news. What are you talking about? Are you fucking for real? Guys, the people who know about this, you want to tell them? You're crazy to not believe me. You think I'm making this up? This is in the Epstein files. In case you guys don't know, and I'm starting to get the feeling you don't, there's been 3 million Epstein files released over the last couple of days. Actually, I think the day before yesterday, all of them were released. And Donald Trump is all over the files. And that is an accusation that is in the Epstein file. Holy shit. This is, so far I've done like 4 or 5 of these since the Epstein files came out. You're the first chat to ever deny. I mean, everybody else has seen this. Why is Trump not fired? How do you fire the president? Why didn't Biden release the files? Well, I'll read it to you. Since for months now, I've been telling you guys, and you don't listen when I tell you. You say, no, I don't want to believe it. So I'm gonna read it to you this time. Because I have a feeling maybe that helps, because you guys are, you're not exactly bright people. And all right, the Epstein case was an open criminal investigation during the Biden administration. Miami Herald investigative reporter Julie K. Brown explained on social media. Brown's extensive reporting since 2017 has shown a light on the enemies of Epstein and his longtime accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell. Her book about Epstein, titled Perversions of Justice, is a New York Times bestseller. Okay. They had an open grand jury, and even after Maxwell's conviction, the case was on appeal. Anyone in law enforcement knows you don't open your case file when it's still under appeal, Brown added. Victims were still going to the FBI with information during Biden's term, but that changed when President Donald Trump's Department of Justice reviewed the files and closed the case in July. That's why. And if you're going to ask that, always remember to also ask, well, I wonder why Trump didn't release them in his first 4 years before Biden even had them. These people are out of their minds. They will live to regret their behavior, and they will be shamed. We talking about MAGA or who? So post one single PDF shot of a file showing something. There's nothing there, soy boy, but lies. So you got 3 million more files. Post one, just one. Well, do you want to see the screenshot? I mean, nothing's going to convince you. I mean, what do I got to do? You want me to go to the Department of Justice? This is look, it was, motherfucker. Fuck it. Yeah, look, it's right there. Now that's a screenshot of it. That's taken from the files. That's the excerpt that I just read you about the oral sex thing. It's and as you can see, it's been reported. It's being reported everywhere. It's being reported everywhere, except I'm sure Fox News. I mean, the fact. Listen, it's one thing to say you don't think he's guilty, but to ignore the fact that something is there when it's there is shocking. That's a new one. Wow. That same document says it's unverified. Oh, so it was reported, Jay Rusky. Oh, okay. See, Jay Rusky, whatever his name is obviously a Trump supporter. It looks like he saw it. Yeah, because it's in the files. And yeah, unverified. What does that mean? What does that mean? If somebody says they saw me murder somebody years ago, and the cops can't find proof on it, it's unverified. It doesn't mean I did it. You know what I mean? Or I mean, it doesn't mean I didn't do it. I'm sorry. I'm confusing myself now. It doesn't mean I didn't do it. It's a witch hunt. He's innocent. DOJ.gov. That's the link. Department of Justice, but it's DOJ.gov. That's the link. You go there to where it says Epstein files. This is astonishing. And then you search Trump's name and you'll see it. Doesn't mean I did it. Yeah, no, but it doesn't mean I didn't. It doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? There's an accusation made. How many of you have been accused of forcing a 13-year-old to give you oral sex? I never have been. So it would make you think, right? Along with the other 28 credible accusations of sexual assault since the 1970s. His wife in 1989, Ivana, saying that he brutally raped her. Katie Johnson saying in 1996, him and Epstein brutally raped her. You know what I mean? The E. Jean Carroll thing, the fact that he cheated on every wife he ever had. That stuff, that where there's smoke, there's fire. Oh, he's a sexual deviant, and now he's being accused of pedophilia. I wonder if he's guilty. Yeah, he is. Then why couldn't the so-called friend be named or found? Oh, I'm sure the so-called friend was, but we're not going to see that part. It's going to be redacted, of course. Nobody's going to go to the FBI and just be like, hey, I knew a chick this happened to once. They're going to tell them who it is, but are they going to release that to us? No. Let me see. Dude, you are a clown. Tell me how, Tony Christian. Tell me how. What am I saying that makes me a clown? I'm curious. You're a guy that was fooled by the world's most well-known con man. You've been fooled by him for about 11 years now. You voted against your own best interest because you're too much of a fucking moron to even know what's good for you. And I'm a clown. Bill Clinton's all over the fuck. Good. Put him in jail. Fuck Bill Clinton. Anybody who's in the files. We're not like, guys, we're not a cult. You're a cult. You'll deny Donald Trump's guilt just because he's your entire identity and you can't live without being a MAGA person. Me, I don't give a fuck. Any Democrat can go to jail. What is this? Trump gets a third term for Biden's fraudulent terms. Okay. And Nancy's insurrection. See, guys, I talk about this a lot on every show too. You guys, the reason I always say MAGA men aren't men, you're not men, is in my eyes, you're betas at the very least, is because you can't take responsibility for anything. You guys blame everybody for your problems, illegals, Mexicans, black people, you're perpetual victims. And even this, you can't even put January 6th on Trump. That was Nancy's thing, even though Nancy couldn't have made that happen. And even the National Guard thing isn't true because Nancy didn't have the authority to turn down the National Guard. It's funny that the simplest thing, even years later, 5 years later, you don't understand. Yeah, okay, pal. Great comeback. Great response. Yeah, okay, pal. Jesus, I can't even keep up with the chat. I lost it now. Nancy admitted it. We have her video. No, she didn't. She said, I take responsibility for it was the Capitol Police. She didn't call more Capitol Police. It had nothing to do with National Guard. Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House, you fucking assholes. She had nothing to do with it. Guys, 957 people. I said we'd hit 1,000 today. Let's see. Guys, please hit the like. Very important. And if you like the show, if you're anti-Trump, if you like the stuff I'm saying, please subscribe. And don't be afraid to send a super chat to contribute to the show, please. Did Nancy Pelosi turn away the National Guard on January 6th? Let me ask it so it gives me an answer. Did Nancy Pelosi turn away the National Guard on January 6th? No. Nancy Pelosi did not turn away the National Guard on January 6, 2021. Fact checks and official investigations have consistently found that she had neither the authority to do so, nor was she presented with a request to decline. Nobody ever requested it to her. Command authority. The Speaker of the House does not command the National Guard. Of course she doesn't. They are overseen by the president, federalized, or state governors. Security decisions for the Capitol complex are made by the Capitol Police Board, which includes the House Sergeant at Arms, the Senate Sergeant at Arms, and the architect of the Capitol. Request denials. Former Capitol Police Chief Steve Sund stated that he requested National Guard assistance days before January 6th, but Sergeant at Arms over concerns about optics. But was rebuffed by the Sergeant of Arms. All right, let me try this again. I forgot how to read, apparently. But was rebuffed by the House and Senate Sergeant at Arms over concerns about optics. The House Sergeant at Arms at the time, Paul Irving, testified that he did not alert congressional leadership about these potential requests until January 6th itself. Once the attack began, both Pelosi and Senate Leader Mitch McConnell actively called military and law enforcement leaders to request and expedite the deployment of the National Guard to the Capitol. God almighty, guys. I swear to Christ. It's amazing that you still... This is why you're not taken seriously, because Trump you could just see something or you could hear Trump say something like that. Nancy Pelosi turned down the National Guard, and then you'll just repeat it without ever checking. Is that possible? Let me see if that happened. No, it didn't. LMAO, Trump is all over the Epstein files because Trump is the one who helped take him down. Dustin Mitchell, couple of things. No, he's not. If you tell me how he took him down, and you could show me a credible source, I will shut my channel down for good, because he didn't. He was never an informant. He never told on Jeffrey Epstein. He never testified against Jeffrey Epstein. None of those things ever happened. At most, he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, and we don't even know what for. Because there's no proof he did it over Epstein being a fucking pedo. And even if he did, he was best friends with Epstein for 10 years before that. So it doesn't really make it much better. It just means that Donald Trump breaks the law until he gets in trouble, and then he throws somebody else under the bus to cover it up. And that would have been the same thing. Oh, shit. Let me tell you something. I was a drug dealer for a long time. I'm not proud of it. Been a long time. Not anymore. Okay. If I was hanging around a certain crew of guys and all of a sudden the heat was on, right, and they're getting hot, and they're bringing too much attention to themselves and everything else, or one of them gets caught, and now it's like, oh shit, guilt by association. Anybody who's friends with this person, is going to be, they're going to assume, the police are going to assume he's doing the same thing. I would remove that friend from my life. Too dangerous to have him around. And if Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out because he was a pedo, that's the only reason. Not because it's a moral stance, but because he was saving his own ass. And according to Epstein, in the emails that were released a couple of months ago, he said he never kicked me out. He asked me to resign my membership. Then his brother, Epstein's brother, said that Trump and Epstein spoke in 2017. Trump told him about the election and everything. So they were still friends in 2017. Becca Doug. $5, they would watch Trump assault a child with their own eyes and still say it didn't happen. Yeah. They would give him their own child for him to do it to. Yep. They would. No doubt about it. And thank you very much for that donation. Being in a black book doesn't make him a pedophile, dummies. I don't know who are we talking about now. MAGA, we support rapists now. Get over it, Lib. Yeah. They're proud of it, too. They're like, yeah, sit here and watch us defend a pedophile. So what? And we're owning the libs. Dumbest people on planet Earth. It would be harder to find who's not on the list. Everyone's on there. Like who, Thomas O'Neill? Because everyone isn't on there. So Trump is. Trump's on there. No, he did. Wow, it's amazing how you just added to that and made it super dramatic when all she ever said was showers with my daughter or showers with my dad that were probably not appropriate when she was a kid, never gave an age, could have been 3 months old. And then, in a letter to the judge, she said during the Gawker lawsuit, my words were grossly misinterpreted and taken out of context, and they were used to lob false accusations at innocent people. She said her father never did anything to her. So there is that, but just ignore that part, Believe her words when she says something you like, and then ignore her words when she says something you don't. You defend Biden. Only in comparison to Trump. Yeah, I don't know if you guys could hear me then. My screen froze. Epstein laughed that he was never a member when Trump kicked him out. He probably did. I wouldn't doubt it. I did hear that too, that he was never even a member to begin with. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You guys got to research. You have to. Okay, this guy spamming the chat with cannibalism and shut the fuck up. My God. Come on, just a minute. The election, damn it, system and democracy is really fucked up. Well, why do you say so? I mean, there's no proof that there's ever been any widespread cheating or outcome determinative fraud or anything like that that took place. Why didn't you care about the files till now? Do you know me? Do you know if I cared about them till now? The better question is, why did you guys piss and moan and whine and spread your conspiracy theories about cabals of Democratic leaders who are running a pedo ring under a pizza parlor and every fucking thing else? How come you guys that listen to Kash Patel and Dan Bongino for years say that there's a list and we need to see it, there's Democrats on it and blah, 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 and Donald Trump ran on releasing the files and you guys wanted nothing more, but now you're like, fuck those files because Trump's in them, because you don't stand for anything. You don't mind pedos as long as they're your guys, Jay Witterstra, I'll just call you Jay. $10. Nice finding your channel. What do you think of the alleged Mossad? I'm going to tell you the truth, bro. I don't know a whole lot about them. It's something I never really got into. I know Ghislaine's father was part of it, but I don't know much about it. Thank you very, very much, though, for the $10. I truly appreciate every dime you guys donate. Please hit the like and subscribe. Take a second to do that now. I do these shows multiple times a day. If you like them, if you don't like Trump and you like to hear him get exposed and destroyed verbally, I'm your guy. So please hit like and subscribe, and don't be afraid to send a super chat. We got almost 900 people. My education level, I am a Harvard graduate, sir. No, it's none of your fucking business. I'm not college educated. I'll tell you that much. I'm not. But when does that matter? Because you're the guys that are against college and universities. And every time we talk about higher education, you say that doesn't equal intelligence. So, you know what I'm saying? Believe me, if you believe Trump is a patriot who cares about working Americans, I don't give a fuck if you got a master's degree. I'm smarter than you. Believe me. No doubt. It's almost like you didn't read any of the shit said about him was deemed to be where was it deemed to be bullshit? Tell me the source. Where? If they had real evidence on him, he would have been arrested for it during Biden's term. No. How? If the statute of limitations is up, how would that have happened? PNW goes, these crimes supposedly took place in the 90s and possibly early 2000s. How long do you think statutes of limitations go? It's not murder, bro. So now you tell me the credible source that says it's all bullshit, because that's just you saying it. Posing as a Guido? You don't, okay. I'm 100%. Well, technically, I'm Italian and Sicilian if you differentiate the two, but I'm posing as a Guido. Guidos don't look like this. Guidos are, you ever see Jersey Shore and stuff? Yeah. Yep, that. LMFAO. It's murder, buddy. It's just as bad. Oh, I think it's worse than murder. But bottom line is the law doesn't. Murder has no statute of limitations. Pedophilia does. Rape does. They do. So you wouldn't expect Trump to be arrested. All the Epstein files are going to do is expose him and probably everybody else. Because I don't think anybody committed crimes recently. And Donald Trump has been running for president since 2015 and has been president. Okay, so I don't think the statute of limitations applies to him anymore. That's not true, Dave. That is simply not true. 6 to 7 years in New York, the statute of limitations, that sounds about right. Yeah, it's usually about 7 years. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. We'll just say these crimes took place, let's just say in Florida where the Palm Beach house was. What is the statute of limitations on sexual assault of a minor in Florida?
In Florida,
there's none in Florida. Oh.
Assault cases where the victim was under 16.
Oh, if the victim.
Civil lawsuits, victims can sue up to 7 years after turning 18, or within 4 years of discovering the abuse or leaving the abuser. For legal advice, consult a professional.
Let's hear that again. In Florida, there's generally no statute of limitations for prosecuting criminal sexual battery or molestation if the victim was under 16 at the time of the offense. For civil lawsuits regarding child sexual abuse, victims can file up to 7 years after turning 18 or within 4 years of discovering the injury and its cause, or 4 years after leaving the abuser's dependency. Slightly confusing, but okay. Florida, there's no statute of limitations. That's good. It's very good, but still, we'll see. There'd have to be proof and everything, but that would be like my wet dream if Donald Trump got arrested for pedophilia. That would be amazing. Maybe it's possible. Now I'm happy. But there was a statute when he committed the crime. Or was there, Brad Lang? Oh, if that's the case, then yeah. Blame the Democrats for all the problems that you guys cause. 1,026 people. Guys, please hit the like and subscribe. Very important. Why blame the Democrats for what, Fire? And let me ask you something. When exactly do we stop blaming the Democrats? Like Donald Trump's been in office over a year now. Oh, yes. No. Let's get this straight. Hold on. I don't want to forget where I was at. Blaming the Democrats. No real Italian or Irish or Eastern Euro from New York City hates Trump, only gentrified yuppies. Tony, wrong. My whole fucking family's from Brooklyn and Queens, okay? I'm from Queens. Smart Italians don't like Trump. Stupid Italians do. People that grew up on the fucking street since they were 3 years old and have no education and talk like they're fucking cavemen, like the mob guys I've interviewed and shit in the past. They, like Trump. And why do they like him? Let's be honest. He's a criminal. That's about it. These are the same guys that worship the mafia. Okay? They like him because he's a gangster. He wants nothing good for Italian people. I still don't know what the fascination is other than somehow New Yorkers that are supposed to be street smart are not. They're not. The ones I'm related to they don't like him. They can't be conned by him. But you guys have been. So don't say no real Italian. No. No smart Italian would like Trump or would be fooled by him. No smart Italian. All right. Anyway, what I was saying is, when are we going to stop blaming the Democrats? because Trump was in office from 2017 to 2021, and Biden was in office for 4 years. Biden fixed everything Trump fucked up. The economy is now worse under Trump than it was under Biden. Prices are up more under Trump than they were under Biden. So when do we stop blaming Biden? Just never? Because you guys still blame Obama for shit Trump fucks up. I mean, it's amazing. It's like I said, that's one thing I've learned about you people. You never take responsibility for your actions. And you certainly don't give him any accountability. No. I'm 100% Italian as real. I guess from Chicago, clown. You look Mexican. I'm not. I'm my dad's side is 100% Sicilian, and my mom's side is from Naples, Napoletan. So that's what I am. You stupid motherfucker, you. And yeah, if you're an Italian who votes for Trump, you're a fucking moron. If you're anybody who votes for Trump, you're a fucking moron. Period. So tell me things about myself? What do I, so far, you've seen me from the top of my head to about here, and I check every box as a pedo. All right. Like what? Just out of curiosity. What exactly tells you I'm a pedo? Thank you. Yeah, I am. And I don't have hair anymore, but if you saw me with hair, you'd be sure of it. So anyway, you guys, and I've been giving this speech more and more on these shows because it really is true. I mean, you guys talk about black people and people in the hood and minorities as being victims, or treating themselves as victims. Okay. It's whether that's true or not, it all depends on the individual. There's individuals in every race that are going to do that. But I've never seen a group of people like MAGA. Because MAGA, your whole entire belief system, your whole ideology is based on your hatred for other fucking people. And why do you hate them? Because everything's their fault. God forbid any of you took responsibility and said, well, I made bad decisions and that's why my life sucks. You can't do that. You can't. So instead, it's if you can't get a job, a good job, it's Mexicans' fault. Taking all the good jobs. If you can't get a house or an apartment, shit's too expensive because of Mexicans. They're taking up all the housing, even though you'll say in the same breath that they're all on welfare, which is not even possible. You know what I mean? If your guy doesn't win an election, it's because illegals voted, even though illegals can't vote. Everything is somebody else's fault. Your son turns gay. It's the gay community's fault. They recruited him and indoctrinated him. You hate trans people just because you hate trans people. But everything is somebody else's fault because you guys ain't shit in life. So now Trump is failing as we knew he would, and that's Biden's fault somehow. Okay. That's why the unemployment rate under Trump right now is the highest it's been since 2021. Joe Biden brought it down to 3.4. I believe it's 4.6 now. So 4.4, actually, I believe. But that's Biden's fault too, right? Trump goes into office. All the jobs Biden was creating, they just stopped. Now Trump's losing jobs. Biden was creating about 180,000 jobs a month on average, even after the revisions. 16.6 million jobs, 4 times more than the last 4 Republican presidents combined. And then Trump took office, and out of the last 6 or 7 months, 4 of those months he lost jobs. In October, he lost 110,000 jobs. So he's the fuck up we knew he would be. He's definitely carrying out Project 2025, just like all the smart people told you he would. But I bet you'll deny that too. Cowboy Baby Yoda. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, brother. $10. It's even worse when these MAGA people call themselves Christian while spreading the hate. Well, you know what, Cowboy Baby Yoda, I agree. But one thing I've learned about Christians is they are some of the most hateful people in the world. And they use that children's book to justify their hatred. You know what I mean? They do. They do. Justify their hatred. Excuse me. Hold on. If anybody would like to donate through Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, there is my thing. And MAGA people, I don't care. Oh, we're not giving you shit. I don't care about you guys. I don't even really want your money. It's the good guys who I would like to contribute to the show. Thank you again, Cowboy Daddy Yoda. Or Cowboy Baby Yoda. Which one is it? Sorry. You really believe you're crap. It's not crap. Everything I say, I know to be a fact, and except for the opinions, like what I said about you guys. But I have every reason in the world to believe that. So to me, that's a fact too. If I hear you guys constantly pissing and moaning about why everything in your life sucks, and then I hear you constantly blaming other people for it, what other conclusion can I come to? I mean, you guys are from the dumbest states in America, the least educated, poorest states in America. And you've been voting against your own best interest for 50 years. So you keep voting for the same people and you stay poor and stupid, and then you get mad at the rest of the world because you're poor and stupid. It's unbelievable. It really is. We're not rioting in the streets. Yeah, and neither is anyone else, dickhead. Trump sends them in there to incite a riot. And January 6th, you forget about that? I don't want to hear shit about riots, okay? You think you know what people think that you don't know. You think you know what people think that you don't know. Yeah, no, I know. I know how you guys think. I know all about you. Working class Democrats, 30 years ago, Republicans today, now Dem liberals, yuppie, rich college weirdos. I mean, 30 years ago, I'm not sure. 40 years ago, 45 years ago, something like that. Definitely those people that were Democrats, liberals, are now conservatives. And that's why the Republican Party is the party of racism and stuff. So you got a point there, but I don't know. They're not rich college weirdos. They're just not like you. They go to college and they learn and they become successful. And you guys fucking live in shacks in the middle of fucking nowhere, or in some row home in one of the 5 boroughs. And you're too stupid. You lack the street smarts to even see through the world's most famous con man, Tony One. If you grew up in New York, you know who Donald Trump is. You've known your whole fucking life. I don't know how old you are, but I'm assuming you're in your 40s, 50s. So if you can be raised knowing that a guy is a con man, the whole fucking city knows it. Everybody knows it. Cheats on all his wives, cheats in business, stiffs his workers, never pays unions, nothing. And then decades later, he runs for president, and you say to yourself, I think he's the guy. You're a fucking idiot. Look at this asshole. You literally had nothing to say about Biden's daughter riding, in her own words, about being molested by her father for years. That's because she never said she was molested, Chris. And how do you know what I've said? This is probably your first time ever seeing me. But she never said anything of the sort. She said, as a child, showers that were probably not appropriate. She didn't even say inappropriate. Now, my stance on it is that's fucking weird. I don't care how old your child is. It's weird. For all we know, she was 3 months old, okay? But still, I wouldn't do it. But that doesn't mean he's a pedo. Guys, look at all this shit Donald Trump has said about his fucking daughter, and then come back to me about the Ashley Biden stuff.
Charges that Jeffrey Epstein was running a sex trafficking ring in the early 2000s that included underage girls as young as 14 years old.
Donald Trump in 2002 said of Epstein, he's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
He routinely spoke fawningly of Jeffrey. He admired Epstein's lifestyle.
Your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of it.
Yeah. She's actually always been very voluptuous.
What does Tiffany have of Marlon?
She's got Marlon's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this blood yet.
You were playing tennis and you came off the court. Quote, look at that piece of I would love some of that. It so happened that Trump was referring to Cohen's then 15-year-old daughter, Samantha.
I had the impression that he was interested in younger women and that, you know, women would age out for him.
Miss Teen Universe? Yeah, that's like giving Jeffrey Dahmer a cooking show.
I'll go backstage before a show, and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I standing there with no sweat.
Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl.
You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
A lawsuit against the presumptive GOP nominee alleges he raped a girl when she was 13 years old.
Prince Andrew answering questions for the first time about his friendship with convicted sex offender under Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know Prince Andrew, but it's a tough story.
Trump has been photographed with Prince Andrew as far back as the year 2000.
Ghislaine Maxwell is accused of helping Epstein sexually abuse underage girls.
I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean,
You are one.
All right.
Okay, now what you guys will say, and I didn't even get in the chat yet, is, oh, TYT. Forget about TYT. Those clips are all in context. They're not taken out of context. If I've seen all of those videos in full, and he's saying exactly what it looks like he's saying. There's nothing that those videos are in no way, shape, or form edited or manipulated. That's Donald Trump, and that's not even all of it. I mean, the stuff he said about his daughter, you saw him just say to Robin Leach, he's speculating how big he thinks his 4-year-old daughter, Tiffany's titties will turn out. He also said on The View, my daughter has always had a very nice figure. I've said, if she wasn't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. When they were asked, when he was asked on The View, Ivanka, what are 2 things you have in common with your dad? She said golf and real estate. Donald, what are 2 things you have in common with your daughter? I was going to say sex, but I can't really say that. He just said it. So, I mean, come on, guys. You see all that. Michael Cohen's daughter, when she's 15, bragging about walking in on naked 15-year-old girls when he was the owner just because he could. And you're like, nah, still not a pedo. Lying about knowing Prince Andrew. He says, I don't know Prince Andrew. Here's 1,000 pictures of him with Prince Andrew. Wishing Ghislaine Maxwell, a convicted pedophile, well. None of that. Yeah, none of that is a red flag. None of that should lead us to believe that Trump is a pervert and possibly a pedo. No, you're right. Totally normal for people to say things like that. Raymond Nope. Is that your name? I don't know how to pronounce that. $2. South African president in the files as well. I don't know. Is he Raymond? It's possible. I didn't get to go through much of them yet. I just went to departmentofjustice.gov and I searched Trump's name and I saw a lot of the stuff he's in there for. And it's disgusting. And the one document, which was there because people were reporting on it yesterday, I tried to get a hold of it last night and it was taken down from the DOJ website. I don't know if they put it back up, but it was taken down. And it was the one about Trump auctioning off the girls and basically using his fingers to, I don't really want to get into it. We're on YouTube, but, the Elon stuff too. I mean, Elon said he was invited to Epstein's Island and he turned it down. And now we find out that Elon was actually trying to get to Epstein's Island and Epstein shot him down. Elon asks him, what's going to be the wildest party year or a party night this week? I want to come and I don't want a calm island vacation. I want to party. I mean, yeah, Elon was begging Jeffrey Epstein to go to his island. How do you MAGA files feel about paying Trump $10 billion? MAGA files. I love it. Yeah. Trump wants to take $10 billion in tax money from the IRS. And I believe he already did, or at least suggested taking $300 million from the Department of Justice. Yeah, taxpayer money just to put in his pocket, They don't mind, bro. They don't mind that his golf trips have now cost us $110 million in tax money. They don't give a fuck. So it's okay for people to vote Bill Clinton, but not okay for others to vote for Donald Trump. No, Bill Clinton isn't running for anything. What do you mean to vote for Bill Clinton? Jesus fucking Christ. First of all, Bill Clinton has been out of office 26 years. Jesus Christ. Can we focus on the guy who's currently in office? That's number one. Number two, what was wrong with voting for him then? We didn't even know about the blowjob thing when he ran for his second term. What are you talking about? So in 98 or whatever, he got a blowjob from another consenting adult, and you compare that to the brutal rape of children. Are you out of your fucking mind? And for some reason, instead of you talking about Trump and what he's up to, we're going back 25, 26 years to Bill Clinton. This is what I mean about you guys. You can't just be like, yeah, he's fucked. This dude's fucked up. No. What aboutism? What about Biden? What about Obama? What about Clinton? What about them? I know, man, it is. It is twisted. People voted for Trump because he ran on exposing the crooked system first term. As messed up as it is, he's technically doing it. How's he doing it? He is the fucked up system. How's he doing it? Yeah, I know. Cosmic Pisces, I can't stand him either. How's he doing it? You're saying he drained the swamp because he filled it. I don't know if you realize that. I mean, that administration is filled with more crooked individuals, corrupt individuals than any administration in fucking history, for Christ's sake. He orders the Department of Justice to do shit. He tells them indict people. They indict people. They're supposed to be two separate entities. They're not supposed to take orders from him. You got people like Tom Homan who took $50,000 in a fucking bag as a bribe from the FBI. They investigated themselves and found no wrongdoing, just like police departments do. And Linda McMahon gave Trump $1 million and became the head of the Department of Education, which she doesn't even have a degree in education and knows nothing about it. I mean, Pete Hegseth, a Fox News host, being the Secretary of Defense. That's not bizarre to you either. He's exposing the system. How do you figure? Everything he says is a lie. The whole Doge thing was lies. They weren't finding anything. Doge, he said, I'm going to find $1 trillion in waste, fraud, and abuse. Turned out to be about 200 billion. And it wound up costing us more than the waste, fraud, and abuse we found. The goddamn department itself, just to operate it, wound up costing us more than what we fucking found. I mean, come on. Libs acting like Trump is the worst thing ever is hilarious. They would actually back Bush now. Hypocrites on the left is insane. Is insane, is it? No, Donald Trump is the worst president and the worst person in the history of the fucking world. Yeah, we're not wrong in saying that. You're just blind. You have Trump derangement syndrome because you see him through rose-colored glasses. We're not the ones with that shit. You guys are. He is a horrible human being. And if you opened your fucking eyes, you would see it too. But my opinion of you is this, and I have every reason to believe it. You guys were never much in life, okay? And you finally have something to be a part of. You know, Trump came along. He said Mexicans are rapists. You all started beating off the pictures of them. You know, he's fucking got right through the primaries, wound up becoming the fucking president. Now he's a president for the second time. And MAGA is your identity. I mean, everything about you is MAGA. You can't ever admit that Trump is wrong, and you never will. If I ask you right now, the Trump supporters, the diehard Trump supporters, because people will say stuff, but, you know, they're not diehard Trump supporters. The diehard Trump supporters, what did Trump do wrong? Just name something. They won't say anything. They will never admit he was wrong. Never. Because they can't, because they invested so much in him. There's a guy that emails me all the time. Once on a show, I said, so many of you have lost so much because of your support for this guy. You've invested so much in him that you can't turn back now. You've lost too much. You're past the point of no return. If you turn back now, it was all for nothing. And a guy hit me up, and there's a guy I know because he's from this YouTube community I'm a part of, and he said, you know, you hit it right on the head. I lost my wife over this. I'm back living with my parents and everything. Over Trump. He gave up his wife and his home for Donald Trump, a guy who would never shake his hand unless there was a photo op. Donald Trump despises you people, his own voters. He calls you stupid on a regular fucking basis. He does. The only person who thinks you guys are dumber than I do is Donald Trump.
Smart people don't like me, you know, and they don't like what we talk about.
Yep. Just like when he sat in front of tens of thousands of you. We won among the poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. And you all proceeded to cheer for that comment. Yeah, that's how smart you are. He stands in North Carolina at a rally complaining about the heat and then tells the crowd, I don't care about you. I just want your vote. You guys are like, no, he was joking. With a straight face? Yeah, no, he wasn't. Let me see. I can admit he's wrong in areas, but nobody wants to meet in the middle. Centrism rarely exists now. Well, there's a good reason for that. He's not the average politician. He's not the average president. This is not a guy you can, you can work with. Bottom line, he's out of his fucking mind. He's done everything in his power to make it so he could just circumvent Congress. He doesn't need anybody's approval for anything. He stacked these agencies, departments, and bureaus with loyalists, so they'll just do what he tells them. He's as crooked as they come. He's made $3.8 billion off of the office of the presidency so far. He's robbing Americans blind, and they love it. They can't get enough of it, you know? They can't get enough of it. He's a horrible human being. Plus, he is, without a doubt, he's an adjudicated rapist. He was found civilly liable for forcibly penetrating E. Jean Carroll's with his fingers. Okay, he's a rapist, and the judge said in that case, this is equal to being found guilty of rape in a criminal court. No, we can't work with him. There's no meeting in the middle. There's no centrism. He's a fucking scumbag. I don't want to be friends with any of you people that support him. Believe me, none. I've removed MAGA people from my life. I have a couple of MAGA friends, and that's just because I convinced myself that they're good people. They're just confused, whether I'm right or wrong. You know what I mean? And they're not even really like diehard, like sick, like you guys are. They're just Trump supporters. There's Trump supporters that aren't completely insane, but not MAGA. MAGA, you're the people that if Donald Trump raped a 12-year-old on live TV tomorrow, you would tell us it was good for the country, or you would just deny that it happened, even though it's right in front of you. You stand for nothing. There's nothing Trump can do to lose your support. He's even pissing all over the Second Amendment now, and you're like, so? What? You guys don't stand for anything. I swear to God. No, I do not believe anything I hear. That's why it's called street smart politics. I research everything before I repeat it. Everything. Wait, what is this? That's the planes. He spelled that wrong. Hit the towers and they collapsed. He continued sitting there in the classroom reading books to kids instead of getting up and going and doing what he's supposed to do. Well, I am no defender of George Bush, but also if you look into that, you'll see why. It was either get up and cause a panic or just continue reading the book, get done with it, and then go handle your business rather than causing a panic in a room full of small school children. You know what I mean? And where was Donald Trump? Oh, that's right. Donald Trump was on live TV bragging that now he has the tallest building in New York City, which wasn't even true, by the way, even after the towers fell. But that's how much he cared about New York at 9/11. Yeah. If Trump was guilty of Epstein, Biden in the Camel would have brought charges 5 years ago. Kamala wanted to win so bad she would have brought charges ASAP. If Trump did anything, you got no smarts. Yes, I do. I already read to you why they didn't release the files, and we don't know that Kamala knew anything, you jackass. We know that the files were with the Department of Justice. Do you think that Biden was just strutting over to the Department of Justice and, flipping through the files? You dummy. You have no proof Kamala or Biden knew anything about Trump being in the files. And I'll use the same argument against you, dickhead. If there was Democrats in there, Trump would have used them in his first term. You guys are so astonishingly stupid. You constantly say about Biden not releasing them during his 4 years, and you never bring up that Trump didn't release them for his 4 years. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? And now, for a year now, he refused to release them. So they had to create a law. Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna had to author a discharge petition. I mean, they needed 218 votes to force a vote on the House floor to release the Epstein files. And 214 of the people that signed it were Democrats. 4 of them were Republicans. And when Marjorie Taylor Greene made it clear she was going to sign the petition, Donald Trump called it a hostile act, because she was going to sign a petition to release the Epstein files. I wonder why he'd call it that. Lauren Boebert, once Adelita Grijalva was sworn in, and she became the 218th signature, he called Lauren Boebert into a fucking meeting, begging her to take her name off the petition, and she wouldn't. We had to create a law. They had to pass a law just to get the files released because he refused to do it. Now, a guy with nothing to hide, why would he refuse to do it? He's been telling you dummies for years, it's all bullshit, it's a Democrat hoax, or it's all Democrats in the files, yet he refused to release them for 5 fucking years now. And you guys don't worry about that at all. You're just worried about Biden, which I've given you the answer to why Biden didn't release them. Guys, please for the love of God, I'm going to give you a second. Hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. It's extremely important. I have a goal for how many subs I want to get today. And if you think I'm doing good work here, even though if you're a liberal, you probably don't like my language and my attitude too much, I am fighting evil, just as many of you are. So please hit the like and subscribe. Support the channel in one way or another. And if you can, because these channels need money to survive, if you can donate in some way, my Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal is in the chat. At least it should be. And the super chat button is at the bottom. I would appreciate that from you guys very much. And there's still 469 of you. If I knew this stream was not truthful, I wouldn't waste my time. Oh, yeah, absolutely. They don't know that we're two different types of people. I'll give you an example. Oh, he just came up with Bidophile because the guy said MAGA file. Yeah, you're a dick rider. We're two different types of people, okay? We're people that at least have some natural intelligence. We're street smart enough to see through con men, okay? And we actually read. You're not going to believe it, but we read, we research, we watch, we listen, and then we fact check to make sure that we're correct about, what we just learned. You guys, you go on Facebook, and if some jerk off just said that Kamala paid Eminem to $5 million to perform at her thing with no proof whatsoever, even though it's blatantly untrue, you could look it up. It would be in campaign finance documents and shit. She didn't. You just believe it. You don't look at the Epstein files to see if Trump's in there. You just come in here when I talk about it and say, no, he's not. You're wrong, even though I'm not wrong. You guys don't want to learn anything because you're afraid to, that you one day might have to admit the truth about this fucking clown. Acknowledge it. So you go out of your way not to learn anything because you just go on vibes. You feel that Biden was a pedo, but Trump is the man. You feel that Obama was crooked, but Trump is the most honest president in American history. And then you don't want anything to interfere with that belief. You don't want anything getting in the way of it. You're allergic to facts. They're inconvenient to your argument. So instead of researching to find out if you're wrong or right, you just say you're right and tell everybody with an opposing viewpoint they're wrong, which is why you're retarded. Okay. And you don't know anything, and you're the most uninformed voters in this country, literally. And for the regulars want to kill me, I know, but guys, what do you want me? You want me to not say it? I have to bring this up in every show because I got to explain to them who they are. If you look at the 2024 electoral map by education, the least educated, poorest states in this country voted for Trump in 2024, whereas the most educated, wealthiest states in this country voted for Kamala. Now, does that tell you something? No, you still think you're the ones that are right? I know you do. That's what makes you guys the laughing stock of the fucking world. Trump was talked about in the files, but you tell want you read. What does that mean, Joe? I read just the part about him forcing a girl to give him oral sex when she was 13. There's also the other thing which they removed last night. But if you go to the Epstein files on DOJ.gov and you search Trump's name, you'll see a little thing that kind of sums it up, and it talks about Trump, getting these girls from Epstein and using his fingers on them and all types of disgusting shit that's absolutely fucking sickening. And that's the thing. You move the goalpost. So first it was Trump isn't in the files. Now you can't deny he's in the files. So you just say, well, there's no proof of what's being said in the files. And if we show you proof of what's being said in the files, you'll say, yeah, but that was old. Show me some new shit. There's no winning with you guys because you're brainwashed. You are part of a cult. And cult members will never admit that their leader is wrong. They won't do it. And you're proof of it. Kamala was a literal fascist. Do you know what a fascist is? Jiggy's Junction, do me a favor. I'm going to go to the bottom. I probably won't catch her comment. There's 500 people. But tell me how she's a fascist or was going to be a fascist. Tell me, please. TDS means Trump does suck. Yes, it does. Well, I'm conservative and I don't support him anymore. I think the entire government is corrupt. I think all of our civilians need to stand up and say enough's enough. This is sick. Thank you. See, you're conservative. You're not a MAGA. MAGA is different. There's Trump supporters and there's conservatives and then there's MAGA. And I'm glad you said that, because these people think that anybody who doesn't like Donald Trump is a flaming liberal, which is insane. I'm not even a liberal. But it shows you're open-minded. I give you credit for that. Look, I love this talking point. Like California, the state that's 1.6 trillion in debt and had a $92 billion surplus, now with a $50 billion budget overspending. So do you blame Donald Trump for all of the United States' debt and everything? Do you think that Gavin Newsom is responsible for all of that by himself? Just out of curiosity. And California, of course, is the most populated state. There's going to be reasons for things like that, like what you're describing. And California pays in $85 billion more to the federal government than they take out. Places like Texas take out $75 billion a year more than they put in. And without California and New York, most of these red states would go bankrupt. They're welfare states. They take out more than they put in. That's how they survive, so. And, I don't want to hear about taxes and all that, because guess what? Where there's higher taxes, there's better healthcare. There's better education. You know what I mean? That's why. Yeah. Oh, you'll talk about how high taxes are in blue states. Well, yeah, but they're not sick, stupid, and poor, whereas you are. So, yeah, you get to pay less taxes. You know why? They know they can't raise the taxes. You're too fucking poor to pay them. They keep you that way. It's deliberate. It's by design. Fascism is a far-right authoritarian political ideology characterized by extreme nationalism, a dictatorial leader, and the subordination of individual interests to the perceived good of the nation. Yes, and somehow Kamala was a fascist. Liberals run the colleges and school system, and their teacher unions are all liberal Democrats, moron. What is your point? You're just pointing out that I'm right, because that would obviously tell you something, wouldn't it? Are you telling me that because liberals run these places that you guys can't get a good education? What is your claim exactly, Tony One? Yeah, he just repeated the same thing. Of course, he won't tell me what he means by that. I already read that like 2 or 3 times why he didn't release the files. Ghislaine Maxwell's case was under appeal. She got convicted under the Biden administration, and then she was on appeal until 2025. And there was open investigations until July of 2025, when Pam Bondi said, we're closing the case. And then now, all of a sudden, for the first time, the Epstein files could be released with no problem. And let me ask you, if you're wondering that, why didn't Trump release them before Biden? She's a cackling more. Yeah, I know. Definitely better to elect a rapist than a chick with a funny laugh. Yeah, it's definitely the right decision. You're well informed and intelligent. You are. Oh my God, she had a funny laugh. Are we going to vote for that crazy bitch? This lunatic who had graduated from Howard, became a prosecutor, then a district attorney, then an attorney general, then a U.S. senator, then the vice president. Are we going to vote for her, the woman that fought crime her whole life? Or are we going to vote for the criminal who's been found just recently civilly liable for rape, convicted of 34 felonies and impeached twice? The guy who cheated on every wife he ever had and is a known scumbag throughout the world. Yeah, the bitch has a funny laugh. Let's go with the rapist. Yep. That's the logic of MAGA people. God forbid you guys have kids. I mean, for the ones that do, I feel so bad for your kids. No, you can't, Mars Wolf. No, you can't. Oh, please, Matthew Garden. Maybe we'll see each other in person someday, and we'll find out, I have no balls. Yeah, right. That's why you're just a follower who just, does what the redneck hillbilly cocksuckers around you do. You don't even have a mind of your own. No, you have no balls. Any follower doesn't have balls, and you're a follower. Can you debunk Trump pooping his pants at the press conference, nerd? No, he definitely pooped his pants. Okay. Confused by that, but yeah, he did. Is that why Epstein and Maxwell said he had nothing to do with it? This is what I mean about you guys. Epstein never said anything of the sort. Epstein in his emails absolutely said that. He said Trump is the dog that didn't bark. He said Trump knows about the girls or knew about the girls, and he was at my house alone for hours with the victim. So, and Ghislaine Maxwell, let me tell you about that in case you didn't understand. So during the summer, all right, as soon as they came out and said there's no Epstein files or whatever, Ghislaine Maxwell, and believe me, it was her. Everybody knows it was her that did it. She sent a birthday card to the Wall Street Journal. Remember that birthday card that was proven to, without a doubt, be Trump's handwriting and signature? The birthday card from 2000 where he's talking all the pedophile shit to Epstein. Okay. That was her sending a signal to him. So he sent his former defense attorney and now deputy attorney general, Todd Blanche, to her prison. Todd Blanche simply made an agreement with her. Listen, exonerate Trump, say he didn't do anything wrong, and we'll move you to a nice, cushy prison. And before Trump leaves office, you'll get a pardon. Who wouldn't take that deal? So that's what she did. She just said on tape he had nothing to do with it. She also said on that same tape that Epstein never did anything wrong either. Oh, yes, she did. So that's how you know she's full of shit. She got convicted of the crimes her and Epstein committed, and she never argued that she didn't commit those crimes. Never once, not even at her sentencing, did she deny being a pedophile. Okay? And guess what happened right after that meeting? She got sent to a cushy prison that's so cushy, she's not even allowed to be there because the Bureau of Prison Rules say if you're a sex trafficker, you can't be in this prison. But Trump worked it out for her, and she will be pardoned. There's no question about that. So that's what happened there. Very simple. All over the Epstein files, Todd. Where does it say Trump did something wrong? Willie Lala, $4.99. You should have open phone calls. Much better for debate. You will also get great clips for your YouTube shorts and videos. I do. Every show, I usually wait until the audience dies down. And the reason for that is because when there's a ton of people and I take phone calls, I lose most of them. So I usually do at the end of every show. I might do it on this one too. And someone can call in and debate. Thank you very much for the $4.99. Let me see. Dreaming up lies is you not researching anything. Yes. Aren't you supposed to be at a protest? No. TDS define Trump does suck. Yeah. How do you explain liberal cities having more crime than conservative cities of comparable size? What conservative cities are there that are comparable to the size of liberal cities? Give me one. First of all, I believe Oklahoma City, for example, as of last year, I don't know about right now, had a higher violent crime rate than New York City. And red states have the highest rates of violent crime. You can look it up. Blue cities have the most people, so they might have the most crime. You understand that? But red states have the higher rates of violent crime. That's just a fact. And you'll blame it on the blue cities, but it's not true. A lot of it is in the red rural areas. And you know why? Poverty and lack of education. That tends to, be a contributing factor to, maybe becoming a criminal because you're not real bright and you are dirt fucking poor. And anywhere there's high poverty, there's high crime rates. So I think you might be a little confused. I think so. Houston is blue, dumbass. Are you talking to me? Because I never said it wasn't. Okay, so if they're Democrat run, they're not conservative cities. Do we agree on that? So when people said, the guy said, why are the liberal cities have more crime as comparable cities, conservative cities? What conservative cities are you talking about that are comparable in size? I mean, be a little more specific. Is Nashville a conservative city? And what city is that comparable to in size? I don't know this shit off the top of my head. Oakland, San Francisco, Los Angeles are all blue, ridden with crime and ignorance. No, just crime. And of course, they're some of the largest cities, so they're going to have more of everything. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of how it works. It's called the fucking population, So, but red states have the highest rates of violent crime, and it's not necessarily just because of the blue cities. So that's something you can keep ignoring, And again, we'll say it again. Red states are the poorest, dumbest states with the highest rates of violent crime. Okay, so you can say what you want about blue cities. But if it was just blue cities that caused this, then why wouldn't the states with the biggest blue cities have the highest rates of violent crime and the highest levels of poverty and be least in or last in education? Why is that? Where there's big cities, there's generally colleges and universities. You're going to find smarter people there than you're going to find in the hills of fucking Alabama. You know what I'm saying? And there's more opportunity, therefore more money, stuff like that. Most large cities are Democrat run. Exactly. That's why when the guy says conservative cities that compare to liberal cities, I don't know which ones he's speaking of. Inner city areas don't have high gun crimes. Yes. It's just poor rural areas. No. Inner city poor areas don't have high gun crime. Why do you keep asking the same thing? No, I never said that. You guys don't understand anything. You can't comprehend or interpret. I don't know what it is, but I very simply said red states have the highest rates of violent crime, and that is a fact. You can look it up right now. I didn't say that blue cities don't. I said red states have highest rates of violent crime, and a lot of that is due to, again, you can check it out. It's not just the blue cities. It's the red rural areas where poverty is high. Intelligence is low, so to speak. And one of the contributors to that, and this is not me telling you this is my opinion, it's a fact. One of the contributors to these rural red areas having such high rates of violent crime is the easy access to guns. And that's not my opinion, so don't tell me I'm wrong. Just go look it up. And you'll find out that that's the case. Chicago is blue. Yeah. And Chicago is not even in the list. Wait, let me think. What was the list exactly? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Illinois is not even in the list of states with the highest rates of violent crime, even though it has an enormous city like Chicago with high rates of crime. So that would tell you something, right? Then the blue shitties out of the red state stats. No, take the blue cities. They've already done that. It's part of the stats. Yeah. It's part of the stats. You can look it up even without the blue cities. Like if you remove them, it's not just the cities, guys. I'm trying to tell you that, but that's already been done. Yeah. It's black people. Yeah. Say what you will, but it's not just black people. Ice baby, we won. We? Jonathan, what exactly did you win? Because let me tell you something. If a Democrat wins in 2028, guess what I didn't do? Win, because I wouldn't be the Democrat running. So you ever hear George Carlin say it's a big club and you ain't in it? Yeah, you didn't win anything. So the red states are being over-policed. Spin it however you'd like. Spin it however you'd like. No, it's not Dill Dirk. You can just simply look it up and then come back here and tell me what you find. It's true. It's true. Not all states, the rate of violent crime is higher if you don't include the blue cities, but many of them it is, even if they don't include the blue cities. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, what is wrong with you people? You know that the red rural areas of these states, there's not a lot of good shit going on. You ever hear about, I don't know, meth and stuff like that? You know, there's a lot of crime in these areas like West Virginia and Oklahoma and Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Missouri. There's a lot of red areas in those states where there's a lot of crime, a high rate of crime. And of course, again, a lot of it has to do with the lack of education and the high rates of poverty. And it's a fact. The fact that you don't know that is mind-blowing. You think that everything is black people. Listen, and by the way, a lot of those areas are populated by black people. So I don't think you're taking any of this shit into account. Owsley County, Kentucky, because I'm going to give you another stat. Red states get a disproportionate amount of welfare funding for the red rural areas. So Owsley County, Kentucky is 99.2% white, 95% Republican, and they get more SNAP funding than any county in America. So you were wrong. I just looked it. You just looked it. Show Shauna. Well, it's funny that you just said you were wrong, but you didn't actually tell me anything you found. You just said you were wrong, which leads me to believe you didn't look at shit. Love how he left my state out because he would be even more wrong. We have black people here too, but nice try. What am I wrong about exactly, Show Shauna? I don't think you're understanding my words. I got to be honest. I didn't say that's not compared to cities, but it's still high rates of violent crime, Joey. Jesus fuck, man. And again, if the red states have the highest rates of violent crime because of the blue cities, then why aren't states much larger that have much larger blue cities the states with the highest rates of violent crime? Why is that? When you look up the states with the highest rate of violent crime, the only blue state I believe is it's not even a state, DC, and possibly New Mexico. Everything else is red southern states. Yeah, most of everything is going to happen in blue cities. There's more people. Yeah, I don't think you guys understand like per capita what that means. Give me a second. %90 of the people on food stamps are Republicans. I wouldn't doubt it for a second. I wouldn't at all. I mean, it's, look at months ago when those food stamps weren't going out. They were showing all over the news these red states where there's nothing but white people in line at fucking churches and shit to get free food and stuff on these, these food lines. I mean, they think you got to understand their mentality is that all white people are the shit and all black people are on welfare and they're this and they're that. That's how they think. Meanwhile, the majority of people on welfare are, of course, white people because there's more white people, right? So, give me a second. According to the latest FBI data, New Mexico, Alaska, and Tennessee had the highest violent crime rates, and Maine, New Hampshire, and Connecticut had the lowest. Louisiana has the highest murder rate of all 50 states, as well as the nation's fourth highest aggravated assault rate. I know that those numbers don't work in your favor, but that's the facts. So, I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you, but that's the way it is. Guys, please hit the like and subscribe. Just the good guys. I would appreciate it if you did. Hold on one second. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm reading something. Take the time to hit the like and subscribe, please. Yeah, you want to hear some of the reasons? Okay. So first of all, the states with the highest rates of violent crime are Alaska, New Mexico, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Okay. This is what it says. Criminologists and agencies like the FBI attribute high violent crime to a combination of socioeconomic and geographic factors. Okay. Economic disinvestment. Many of the states above have high levels of concentrated poverty. Neighborhoods where over 30% of the population lives below the poverty line, which is strongly linked to higher homicide rates. Geographic isolation. In states like Alaska and New Mexico, remote communities, not blue cities, remote communities face limited law enforcement presence and slow response times, which can embolden criminal activity and make domestic violence intervention more difficult. See, you got lower taxes, you got less police, you got higher crime. Okay. Research in gun accessibility. Oh my God, it's almost like all these things are exactly what I said, isn't it? Gun accessibility research indicates that states with weaker firearm regulations often see higher rates of gun-related violent crime. Well, ain't that a bitch? It's almost like everything I've been telling you is 100% the truth. Oh, God. Systemic strains, delays in legal processing, such as felony cases taking 5 to 10 years to resolve, and underfunded public safety resources can hinder crime prevention efforts. So, crime has nothing at all to do with uneducated or financial opportunities. Well, I mean, I'm assuming you admit that you're retarded, right? Because when you say something like that, what you're telling me is that people in wealthy areas where the houses are all $5 million, they have just as much of a reason and motivation to commit crimes as people that are living in abject poverty who can't even feed their families. Think about that. Does that make sense to you? Wouldn't common sense tell you that wherever people are the poorest, they're going to commit more crimes, considering that many, many crimes are committed as a way of, making money? You know what I'm saying? So you think that that's just crazy, like, and education too. So in other words, people with master's degrees are just as motivated and feel just as necessary to commit crimes as people who have, say, an 8th grade education and they can't get a job because of their lack of education. Think about what you're saying. The information comes from your FBI. Well, I don't have an FBI. It's all of ours. And you love it when they do things that you're all about and when they give you stats that fit your narrative. But the FBI is full of shit, right? I know. Sure. So white collar crime is non-existent. No, Virginia. This is the false equivalencies again. Okay, so I said not that. Okay, I said that places where there's high poverty and lower rates of education, crime is higher. And you said, so that means white collar crime doesn't exist? No, it means that crime is higher in areas where there's high poverty and low rates of higher education, stuff like that, which is a fact. There's still crime in rich communities. There's still white collar crime, but that's it. And it's not, rich communities. It's not, people shooting each other left and right and stuff like that. It's more of, like you said, white collar crime. So, gee, I wonder, is it more dangerous? I'm trying to think. I've been to rich neighborhoods and I've been to ghettos. Is it more dangerous in ghettos where there's high poverty and less education, or worse education, we'll say? Or is it more dangerous when I walk around a neighborhood filled with $5 million houses? If my memory serves me correctly, I definitely felt more in danger in the ghetto. Yeah. They love to say 1350, but never want to talk about their child sex crimes problem that is rampant in their community. I know. Absolutely. Misdemeanor is absolutely an arrestable offense. Who says? A DUI is a misdemeanor. You get arrested for that. Shoplifting, petty shoplifting is a misdemeanor. You get arrested for that. How is a misdemeanor not an arrestable offense? Yeah. Or you tell them. Yes, you are. Victor Falls, you absolutely are the only smart Republican in here. Listen, what does that matter? Considering that American citizens commit violent crimes and crime in general in much larger numbers than illegal immigrants. So why would that make the country safer? 5%, and you could check this out too, 5% of the illegals that Trump has deported have criminal records. 5% are criminals. So, yeah. I know it is, bro. I deal with it every day. That's why I finally started asking for donations, because, God damn it, I deserve it dealing with these stupid motherfuckers. The guy lives around white Republicans. Oh, the irony. What's irony? John, you know me, right? I'm assuming because you made a comment earlier. Where am I from exactly? Where am I from? You want to tell everybody you know, right? Am I from where I live now? Is that where I'm from? The most EBT recipients were Republican. That's not true. Who said that? We said there's a disproportionate amount of SNAP funding that goes to these red states, specifically the red rural areas. Okay. And in Owsley County, Kentucky, there's just an example. They use this as an example. Okay. 99.2% of the population is white, 95% are Republican, and they receive more SNAP funding than any county in America. Yeah, of course they are. Yeah. Believe me, I've been arrested for misdemeanors. You get arrested for those. Yeah, they're bad. Yes, I do. I love that fucking movie. So if he lives around Republicans, he has to be a Republican. It doesn't even make sense. And anybody who knows my life, you know that I was as a kid, I lived in New York. I was born in Queens, New York, and I lived there as a kid. And then we moved to Pennsylvania, where I lived most of the time here for about 20 fucking years in a city that's small, yet it has a higher per capita murder rate than the 5 boroughs, Philadelphia and Chicago. So I'm from a neighborhood full of Republicans. Really? I live in a neighborhood now where there's a lot of white Republicans. And guess what I do every day that I leave my house? I get in the car and I drive to my city. I don't do anything in this town. I don't shop here. I don't bank here. I don't do anything here. Nothing. I don't like these fucking hillbilly motherfuckers. Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, no doubt. They do. Lee asks $10 straight facts are appreciated and much needed. Thanks. Thank you, Lee. Thank you for always showing me support, man. I appreciate it. Crossing borders is a crime, so all are criminals. Well, it's a crime like I said, DUI or petty shoplifting, whereas Donald Trump, for example, was convicted of 34 felonies. So if those misdemeanors bother you, his felonies must drive you insane. And guess what? Even if you want to say bullshit felonies, they're all misdemeanors. Okay, he's got 34 counts. So, and you guys are perfectly fine with the January 6 people, 1,600 animals who assaulted 140 police officers, many of which died, several of which I'll say died. You're fine with that. You're fine with Trump pardoning the scumbags he's been pardoning, like the former president of Honduras who trafficked 500 tons of cocaine into our country. You're fine with all that stuff, but those misdemeanors, yeah, we got to crack down on this crossing the border thing. Definitely. It's equal to, the most heinous crimes in America. Crossing an invisible line is definitely one of the most heinous crimes that could be committed. It can't be compared to Donald Trump's, rapes and stuff. It's definitely worse than that, right? 5% have committed violent crimes, and more than 70% haven't committed crimes at all, given the statute's limitations apply. Oh, gotcha. There you go. No, that's not true. If they arrest an illegal, they don't release them to Democrat states, period. Generally, they deport them. And they certainly don't put them down as white male, depending on what they are, unless they are white males. Like you do know, like Hispanic people, for example, people from Spain and stuff like that are white. They're Caucasian. Cubans, for example, if you look up the whitest neighborhood in America, it's Hialeah, Florida. Hialeah, Florida is like 99% Cuban, but they consider themselves white. So you might not be what you consider white, but actually still be white. Do you understand? Ashley Babbitt is the only person that died on January 6th. Not from January 6th. January 6th, a lot of police officers were assaulted. One specifically died from his a stroke caused by his injuries the next day. And several committed suicide. And what a coincidence. Generally right around January 6th, but I guess there's no relation between the crimes that were committed, the stuff the officers saw, and their eventual suicides, right? Sure. How do you figure? And it's YOU apostrophe RE. How am I a racist exactly? Wait until they find out there's white Mexicans. Yeah, they don't understand. Like, if somebody's labeled as white in an arrest report, it might be because they're white. You know what I'm saying? There are also white illegal immigrants. You realize that, of all kinds, right? I know you guys don't like the northern border. You don't worry about that. It's all about the southern border. But yeah, hundreds of thousands of white illegal aliens come through the northern border. Look at this. 2 died from being fat bodies. 1 was murdered by a Capitol police officer. That is completely untrue. Completely untrue. And fat bodies, really? You think cops are just walking around morbidly obese in general? It's funny because the ones I saw in those videos of January 6th, they weren't fat bodies. And you're wrong. No cop was murdered by a Capitol police officer. No cop was. Why was a cop murdered by a Capitol police officer? You just made that up. Cops were tased in the neck. They were pepper sprayed. They were beaten with flagpoles. And several committed suicide, whereas 1 died from a stroke related to his injuries. My state is 92% white. Oh, yeah? What state is that? Oh, shit. An Air Force veteran was murdered. No, she wasn't murdered. She was killed, rightfully so, because she was trying to break into the Capitol with a bunch of fucking animals behind her. And that's the way it works. If you do that, you might get shot. And she got killed, and she fucking deserved it. So, yep. Yeah, I know. War. They don't even know my background. Like, my friend circle. Could you imagine? If I was racist, they would be astonishing, considering that would mean I hate every single one of my friends, pretty much. Wyoming. Oh, Jesus. You might be right then. Wyoming. I didn't even know people really lived there. Full of entitled fucks. Yeah. You come from a state that's 92% white and you're a MAGA person? I can't believe it. I would have never expected that. Cop shot blindly into the crowd. You don't do that. No, he didn't, because he hit his target, meaning that he didn't shoot blindly into a crowd. So say whatever you have to say, to make her a martyr. She's not. I wish all of you motherfuckers that were there would have been shot that day, honestly. All right, guys. Yeah, don't try to enter a sensitive area of the Capitol. Yeah, you might die if you do that. And the funniest part about that dumb bitch? Let me tell you about the stupidity of Ashley Babbitt. Do you know why she was there that day? It turns out she was a victim of some predatory loans. Okay. In other words, some fucked up loans she took that wound up being seriously bad for her financially, whatever she didn't understand about the loan. I guess she didn't research it good enough, and it was a predatory loan. And she blamed the Democrats for this, when in reality, it was actually the Republicans that made whatever the fuck it was that made it. I don't know if they deregulated the banks or what they did to make those loans possible, that she could be a victim of them, was actually because of the Republicans and not because of the Democrats. And this dummy believed Republicans and got herself killed. And it wasn't even Democrats' fault. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. I appreciate you being here. My wife is going to fucking kill me because I said I'd be done much earlier than this. But please, if you can, deregulation. Hit the like button and subscribe. And if you want to donate after the show, hey, there's a super thanks button. I'd appreciate it. Thank you guys for everything. I'll see you next time. Peace.